When I first started looking into law of attraction, I wasn't even sure that it was a real thing. I kept thinking, oh, maybe this is just wishful thinking. But I have a science background. And by the time I finished, researching and investigating and reading everything I could get my hands on, I realized it was a real thing. And not only that, it's actually a real science. And one of the things about law of attraction is that it doesn't discriminate. And we're going to talk about that in this episode. It does not discriminate. So if you keep making the same mistakes inadvertently, you may think that law of attraction isn't working, when in fact it's always working. It's just that you have probably committed one of these deadly sins that we're going to be talking about in this episode, because in the 7 years now that I have been working in this space, I keep seeing them over and over and over again in my clients, in my students, plus I actually fall into these traps myself all the time because I'm as human as you are. So let's get into them so that you understand what they're all about, how to avoid doing things the wrong way and start switching it around so you actually get the results that you're looking to get. Now, I quickly want to point out to you this episode here, which I will link for you so you can actually click on it and watch it next at the end, because that episode goes through the 5 rules of law of attraction, and it actually explains to you how law of attraction works. But before you go there, watch this episode, because we're going to talk about the things most people do wrong that make law of attraction work against them rather than for them. So the very first thing that almost everybody does that totally blocks law of attraction is they actually focus on what's missing because they want to manifest / attract something, right? Which means they're missing it. They want it because they don't have it. So, this is a really tricky one, and it can take a lot of practice and self-awareness, because naturally the tendency is it's not here. That's why I want it. That's why I'm interested in how to make law of attraction work for me. But the thing about law of attraction is that like attracts like, and you are the magnet. And whatever you're vibrationally, energetically aligned with, whatever you're focusing on, that's what you're going to draw more to you of. That was English. And it means that if you're focused on what's missing and that it's not here, what you're actually manifesting is more of it not being here, more of it missing. And let's use the example of money, because that's the space I generally work in. If you're focusing on the income that you're not currently generating, and the money that's not currently in the bank, and the savings you don't currently have, or the home you don't currently have yet that you'd really like, then your energy, your vibration, your focus is actually on the fact that it's missing, on what's not here yet that you're really aware of, to the point that you're making the effort to manifest. So that's the trap, right? And that's kind of the deadly sin, because focusing on what's missing means your energy is aligned with it's not here and it's not coming, and hurry up, when the hell will it come, and why isn't it here yet, and it's still missing. And so, for most people, that actually becomes a bigger and bigger thing as they gather momentum and as time goes on. So you're literally, in that case, blocking the thing from coming because you're energetically aligned with the fact that it's not here yet. So how do you flip that? How do you spin that around? Well, it's very easy. You actually look around you and try to find the next best thing, or this most similar thing to that thing being here. And let's use the example of money. If you just focus on the money you do already have and the income you are already generating, and actually focus on feeling great about that and celebrating it, you're actually switching your energy and your alignment from there's that extra money that I want that's not here yet, which means you're focusing on the lack of it and blocking it. And you're switching your alignment to money that's here and how much you love that, which makes you magnetic to more money that's here that you get to love, right? So the trap for most people is that they think, oh, if I'm too happy with what I've already got, the universe may decide that, oh, they're okay, they don't need any more, I can move on to the next person. But that's not how it works. It's literally where your attention goes, your energy flows, and what you focus on expands. So make sure you check in with yourself. Am I focusing on what's missing, or am I focusing on what I want more of and any scrap of evidence that I can find in the world around me as an excuse to amplify that vibration within me. And this is why one of the principles of magnetic money, one of the things we focus on in that program, is the evidence of abundance and money that we already have in our lives. And this is a practice. So that's why I'm giving you this as the very first one, because even if you watch nothing else, you want to take that one away with you and really keep it in mind. Now, the next kind of deadly sin that really blocks law of attraction, or at least blocks you from getting the thing you want, is constantly changing your mind. And I see this a lot, where people will say, look, this is what I want to create in my business. This is the level of income I want to generate, or this is the lifestyle I want, or this is, how many clients I want, or this launch I'm doing, this is how many students I want to attract in. And then they start kind of second guessing themselves. They start doubting that that's achievable, that that's reasonable, that that's doable. They start thinking, oh, maybe I'm asking too much. Maybe, if I just lower my expectations, the universe will deliver. But what that actually means is that your energy is not consistently focused on the end result you actually want. It's here, and then it's there, and then it's over here. And then you think, oh, maybe I don't even want that at all. Maybe I just want something altogether different. And so, your energy is actually never consistently aligned with one thing long enough for that to gather momentum and to actually build up to a level where you're starting to really attract the tangible result coming back to you of your consistent alignment with that vibration. And I call this, I have an analogy for this that I call confusing the waiter, because that's literally what you're doing. It's like you're sitting in your favorite restaurant and you look at the menu and you think, wow, there are so many good things on here, but here's that dish that I really would love to have. And so you place your order, and the waiter takes your order. And, before they even get to finish walking away, you kind of check with them, is that okay? Have you got enough ingredients? Is it fresh? Is the kitchen not too busy? You start kind of checking that it's okay for you to order that thing. And the waiter's thinking, well, yeah, it wouldn't be on the menu and available if we couldn't deliver it, or I would have mentioned it to you if we'd run out. And so finally, they go off to the kitchen to deliver your order to the kitchen so the kitchen can start preparing your meal. And when you second guess and you go, oh, well, maybe that's asking for too much. Maybe I'm not ready for that. Maybe if I just, ask for a little bit less, it'll be easier for the universe to deliver. What you're effectively doing is you're calling the waiter back and you're going, oh, you know what? I've changed my mind. I won't have the lobster. I'll just have the crab. That'll do. I'll be happy with the crab because, I just want seafood and it'll be delicious. And just let's change it and let's make it the crab. And he goes, okay, well, whatever you want. I'm just taking the order and the kitchen is going to prepare it and deliver it. So let's change it to crab. So they go back to the kitchen, doesn't want the lobster anymore. She wants the crab now. The kitchen goes, okay, not a problem. Stops what they're doing, starts pulling out the ingredients for the alternate meal. And then you go, oh, well, maybe, no, you know what? You call the waiter back and you go, do you know what? I've changed my mind. I think that it would just be easier for everybody else if I just had the pasta. I'll just have the pasta. In fact, I'll have the pasta marinara, because it's got a bit of seafood. And so we'll be in the ballpark. And I know that that's just a whole lot easier. And, I don't want to cause any trouble. And so on and on it goes, right? And some people don't even let the waiter get to the kitchen in the first place. They call them back beforehand. And so can you see how that's effectively what you're doing to the universe? You're not actually sticking with one thing long enough for it to be prepared and delivered, and for it to arrive right in front of you for you to enjoy. So stop changing your mind. Just decide that this is what I would really like, and wouldn't it be lovely? And then relax and go about your business. So the next deadly sin that really blocks law of attraction is not taking action, because the actions you take demonstrate what you truly expect. And often people will kind of sit back hesitating and waiting for, the universe to start delivering, they're waiting for the knock on the door, and then they'll get up and start doing their part of it, because they're hedging their bets, right? They're not really sure, and, they don't want to look silly and they don't want to get their hopes up. But the thing is that your action demonstrates your expectation. And so if you don't take action that demonstrates that you actually expect that thing to happen, then you're sending out mixed messages and you're not showing up for your part of the deal, because that's your job. Your job is to show up and be ready to receive. And so taking action is a really important part of, making sure that you're energetically aligned with the outcome you desire on all these different levels of being. And that episode that I mentioned, that I'm going to link up here at the end for you to watch next, that really goes into that in a lot of detail, because this episode here is all about that. At the end of the day, it's all about vibration, but vibration is a thing that exists at so many different levels. So please don't sit back like on the couch waiting until the delivery guy knocks on the door before you get up and do something about it. Get up and go, what is the most natural first step that I can take? What is the first baby step that demonstrates that I'm actually expecting for the ultimate outcome? How can I demonstrate with my baby steps that I have that positive expectation? And what's the natural first thing that I would do? So, if you want to go on a big overseas trip, well, the first thing you would do is start kind of deciding where you might want to go and which route you might like to take, whether you want to, take trains when you get there, or bus it, or maybe you want to hire a car. You will start making plans. You'll start investigating and looking into it. You wouldn't wait until literally the plane drops you in Rome at the airport before you go, okay, I'm here. It happened. Now what do I do? Where am I going to stay? How am I going to get there? How am I going to get around? Like, you wouldn't do that. So do that with whatever it is that you're looking to manifest, the abundance that you're looking to manifest, and think, what's the first natural baby step, and go do that. Do it right now. Well, actually finish watching this episode first, but then go do it. Actually, no, finish watching this episode, then watch this episode, and then go do it. Okay, so the next deadly sin that really blocks law of attraction is being incongruent. And, I already talked about the importance of taking action and how that adds to your congruence, but it's about more than that. It's actually also about listening to the words you speak and the thoughts you think, because sometimes we say we want this, but then all the rest of our language is actually the opposite. It's complaining that it's not here yet. It's, talking about how difficult it is. It's talking about the total opposite of the manifestation that you said you wanted to move towards. And so that shows that you're really not fully in alignment. You're not congruent. So look at your actions, but also look at your words. And at the end of this episode, I'm going to tell you what kind of the one principle is that ties all of this together. So make sure you watch till the end. Okay, so let's press pause just for a moment and check in. So far, I've covered for you 4 of those deadly sins that really appear to be blocking law of attraction. Although at the end, I'm going to explain to you why they're not actually blocking law of attraction. They're just making it seem that way. But for now, I just want you to check in and let me know, type me a comment below. Let me know which of the 4 things we've covered so far you really need to address. Which of those are you thinking, oh crap, I've really had that one backwards and I've been getting in my own way? Type me a comment and let me know below. Right, let's move on to the next one. And it is complaining. Complaining that it's not here yet. Complaining that it's not working. Complaining about the old situation that you're looking to move away from. So I kind of half covered this for you in the first one we talked about. But what I'm specifically talking about here is complaining. Because when you're complaining, you're adding so much energy to the fact that it's not working, it's not here, it's taking forever. And what you're basically doing is you're hitting the emergency brake on that train, and you're really slowing it down, because you're literally saying with a really powerful energy that you're emitting that it's not here, it's never going to come, it's taking way too long. And that's a powerful force. And guess what you get back? More of whatever you're putting out, which is, I'm complaining that it's not here yet. I'm really noticing it's not here. It's taking forever. So you're just blocking it even more. You're putting even more obstacles in the way of it arriving. Okay, let's talk about the next deadly sin that appears to be blocking law of attraction. Because remember, I'll tell you at the end why we're not actually blocking it, but it doesn't make it work the way you want it to work. And that's all you really care about, right? So this one is being too attached to how you decide it needs to be, which actually means that you're closing down to all the other opportunities and ways things could work out. And I'm not even just talking about the ultimate end result. I'm talking about, even just being attached to how you think you should get there, because this is what we tend to do. We tend to go, that's the end point I want to get to. And then we decide, and that means I need to get here, and then I need to go there, and then I need this to happen, and then I need that person to show up, and then I'm going to need this. And we kind of, plan it all out, and then we get really attached. And if the universe or life or God, or whichever term you like to use, delivers you something that doesn't look like the plan you had in your head, then you decide it's not working and we must be off track. But what if there's a better way? What if there's an even more incredible way? Or what if there's a little detour you need to take that's going to give you an amazing thing that's going to make your end result even more magical? So being too attached means that we don't allow ourselves to just go with the flow and to actually take advantage of all the opportunities and all the golden nuggets that are being offered to us along the way. And the next deadly sin that appears to be blocking law of attraction is micromanaging the universe, where, it's a little bit like the previous one I talked about, but we're really, really pinning the universe down and giving it specific instructions with, a full manual of how it should all be. And what that means, other than what I said before about being too attached and not being open to all the different ways the magic can actually unfold for you, and recognizing that maybe you don't have all the answers up front, this one is actually a little bit more about just demonstrating your lack of trust by constantly micromanaging and kind of, it's a little bit like calling the waiter over and over and over again, just to make sure that the kitchen hasn't forgotten your order, and to make sure that, now, do you understand that, I want the one just like it is on the menu and like we discussed? And they're going, yeah, I read it back to you. The kitchen's got it. It's all happening. It's all good. And so, your energy is really getting in the way because you keep calling the waiter over, checking with them that the kitchen's got all the ingredients and that they've got the order and they know where you're sitting and that you haven't left the restaurant yet. And you're just getting in the way of the actual, workings of the whole thing. And your energy is just screaming loud and clear, I don't trust that it's all going to be okay. I don't trust this process. And so you're actually screaming energetically that I don't believe it's going to come. I don't believe it's working. And honestly, if you do that in a restaurant, it probably won't come because they'll kick you out because you're not allowing them to actually, serve all the other patrons and get on with their job. And so, if you keep doing that, micromanaging the universe, be aware that a huge component of that and a huge trap within all of that, which is why I've put it on this list, is that you're screaming loudly that you actually don't believe the outcome will happen. And so again, your energy is in total opposition to the thing that you said you want and that you have been doing your best to pretend you really believe is coming. Okay, and just before I get on to explaining why all these things appear to be blocking law of attraction, but they're really not, and what that really important principle is that you need to keep in mind throughout all of this, which will actually make all of this a whole lot easier for you. Before I get into that, if you specifically want to manifest more money and abundance in general, then I recommend you jump on the link in the description below and grab yourself access to my free Manifesting Abundance Quick Fix. It is a super quick video training with a checklist that takes you through specifically where most people go wrong and ensures you get back on track when it comes to manifesting abundance and especially money. So click on the description below, the link in the description below. You may have to click see more to open up the description fully, and you will find the link to the Manifesting Abundance Quick Fix down there. Now, last but by no means least, here's the most important takeaway for you from this entire episode, and that is that law of attraction is always working. There is no off switch. It doesn't just work when you're remembering about it and thinking about it and manifesting. You are always manifesting. It is always on. It is always working. So your job is to ensure that as much as possible during each day and night, your energy is in alignment with the outcome you desire, that you're as congruent with that as possible, that you do your best not to get in the way, not to second guess the universe, remembering that there's no time out. You can't go and complain and whinge that it's not working and then go back to manifesting. There is no such thing. It is always working. It is always on. And so that's what actually happens. It's not that you're blocking law of attraction from working. It's that you're actually making law of attraction work on the thing that you didn't really want without realizing it, because you're not being self-aware enough. And that's why in the Magnetic Money program, the very first thing we start practicing is that self-awareness, because you starting to recognize what you're actually doing and what you're bringing to the equation is the most important thing of all. And so that is why I highly recommend that the next episode you watch is the one that's about to pop up over here. You'll be able to click on it and go straight there, because it will take you through the 5 rules of law of attraction. It says for beginners, but it's not really for beginners, because you need to understand how this works so that you can stop getting in the way and start getting on board and really start to get the results that you're after. And if you enjoyed this video, be sure to give me a thumbs up, hit the like button, click subscribe, share it with your friends, hit the notification bell so you maximize your chances of catching new episodes as I release them, and click on over here and I'll see you in that episode next.